Zach Barnett joins us, Football Scoop, in the middle of all of it. Has this been the busiest stretch you can ever remember, even though there are surges at times?
Yeah, I think it certainly is up there. I can't sit here and say definitively, but man, it's been the type of week where you find yourself thinking, "Oh yeah, Auburn's open. Oh yeah, Penn State's open." It's been that type of cycle.
So, how long do you think? Much longer will we have to wait to hear about Matt Campbell?
I think it is. I think it's just about done. That was what we were hearing. We had a good source that was highly involved there. They were confident this morning. So I'd be very, very surprised. I mean, at this point, if you are Penn State, considering the way the search has gone, and you have your guy that's agreed, I think it'd be interesting to think what Matt Campbell wouldn't ask for that they'd have to say no to at this point. Considering the amount of leverage that he probably has over that search.
Paul, what was the question you asked? If Matt Campbell doesn't go to Penn State, then where does he go?
Where do they go?
Yeah, exactly.
Or where does he, yeah.
Well, no, Penn State, but I mean, if he doesn't take the job at Penn State, because that's good for Iowa State if he doesn't, but if he doesn't take that job, how many others are bigger than that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been certainly waiting on one of those big four in the Midwest, being Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and as an Ohio Mount Union kid who coached at Toledo, I have to think Ohio State's probably his number one. I mean, you can make an argument that it's the best job in the country, so it should be everybody's number one. But Notre Dame's. Well, Notre Dame, we'll see on that. There's been rumblings that Michigan might come open, so we'll see on that. But you can't certainly bank on those. So, and then at the same time, if you're at Iowa State for a long time, it's probably only a matter of time before they get bored of your own success and start wondering why they're not winning the Big 12 every single year, even though they are Iowa State. So I think it's right job, right time for him.
Your North Texas Mean Green brought in Neal Brown to replace Eric Morris. I really like this hire. I think that he has shown, especially at the G6 level, his ability to be an innovator. West Virginia, probably not a fit for him, but a guy who offensively I don't think is too far from Eric Morris when it comes to developing players.
Yeah, it's funny because he's the third straight North Texas head coach with ties to Texas Tech. Although, through no fault of his own, he was there for the time that Texas Tech fans just agreed to pretend never happened because he was Tommy Tuberville's offensive coordinator. But he was there. This is no fault of his own, but I think it's a downgrade from Eric Morris in that you're not just going to be able to dial up 11 yards every single you want because you are the premier quarterbacks coach in college football at this time. That's not Neal Brown's fault, but, I mean, you watch North Texas – that Temple game, it looked like they had 8 players on the field defensively because it was just Caleb Hawkins had his pickup gaps. And then it was just simple dig routes that were catch and run for 70 yards. So I don't expect that to continue, but there's no reason North Texas can't be one of these perennial contenders in the American. You've got great facilities, great location. The support is better than it's been. So I think they can keep it rolling. Will they be best in class and be turning 9th grade B team quarterbacks into NFL prospects? Probably not, but you could still win 9-10 games a year.
Is there any doubt in your mind that Morris will end up bringing about 6 to 8 starters from Denton, including the quarterback? Because that's one of the things you and I talked about this is that if you get Jared Mosley as your AD, if you're Baylor, you also then get Eric Morris, Mestamaker, Young, et cetera, keep Hawkins and all the others. Or you think you would?
Yeah, I mean, if you're Mestamaker, and I'm sure you're going to field offers from you name it in the Power Four, but we know what the NFL thinks of Eric Morris quarterback. So you're best off staying right where you are. Caleb Hawkins is a Shawnee, Oklahoma kid. North Texas was really the only school to recruit him. So I have to think someone else would have to absolutely knock his socks off to get him to leave that staff and leave Oklahoma State, assuming he goes there. Wyatt Young was a Katie Tompkins quarterback that they turned into an all-conference receiver. Have to think he's loyal to Eric Morris. But, I mean, it's not just Oklahoma State that's going to be after these guys as well.
What do you think about Brian Hartline to USF?
I was going to make the joke that the rest of college football would pay Penn State to hire Brian Hartline just to get him out of Ohio State. So I think it's a great hire. Obviously, we'll have to see how he hires and if he continues to call plays. But, I mean, if he is 40% successful as a head coach at South Florida, as he was a position coach at Ohio State, then they're going to be in the playoff and winning conference championships, and he'll be off to bigger and better things in 2 to 3 years. So I think it has all the makings of a really, really good hire. That's a program that, from what I was told, spends more than anyone else in the American in NIL. That's a program that they're in the process of building an on-campus football team, so they're not certainly going to downshift in investment in football anytime soon. And he was there for Urban Meyer. He was there under Jim Tressel. He was there under obviously Ryan Day. So he's seen how to build a program up close, and he's lived it for close to 20 years now. So I think it's a great hire for South Florida.
Zach, you put FootballScoop had out the finalists for the General Manager of the Year. Obviously, that was not something there was 2 or 3 years ago. Now there is. You have James Blanchard, Texas Tech, Cole Hurd from Tulane, A&M's Derek Miller, Barton Simmons, Vanderbilt, and Matt Wilson at Indiana. Blanchard's gotten probably more ink out of that than anybody, and what we see with Texas Tech. Just cool to have that as even an award that was not there just 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and it's as someone for me, certainly it's a collaborative effort, but I kind of do the due diligence on choosing these awards, and it becomes so interesting because it's like when you're trying to honor the wide receivers coach of the year, like A&M. Obviously, they had a great year on offense. So you ask yourself, is this a wide receiver coaching credit for the transformation, or did the personnel office just go out and get 2 dudes in Concepcion and Craver, and they made everyone else look better? So finding the line right there can be difficult. But, I mean, certainly find me a program in college football that's not killing it in the portal that's going to compete for championships. I mean, even Ohio State and Oregon go there. So the best of the best go there, and obviously Texas Tech. Indiana, Vanderbilt would not be anywhere close to where they are without really good people in their personnel offices.
The reason Ohio State won the national championship last year could be, the combination of elite recruiting is the combination of getting guys like Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and all of that, plus going in when Caleb Downs puts his name in the portal, he doesn't go anywhere else. Right. So, they can do that maybe to a lesser level as far as volume goes, but getting good portal players is really the only path to winning right now.
And I mean, you talk about evaluating players. There's just an ocean of guys. If you could be a Division II quarterback and in one season go take an SEC team to the college football playoff. So to have that eye for talent of, all right, this SEC transfer can't help us, but this FCS and Division II guy can. I mean, I really admire what those guys, the volume of information that they have to process at a short amount of time, I think would stun any one of us.
Zach, Baylor in the AD job. Jared Mosley, again, we brought that up. There are others that everybody would like to have seen them contact, and they probably have, and it seems like they have with Wren Baker and Jeremiah Dickey, who's got a game tonight. There was a little smoke out there about Hunter Yurachek. I don't know. I've been told that might be just a smoke. But anyone else on your plate or anyone else that comes to your mind, I would think, have to have somebody hired in the next 2 to 4 days.
I'm interested in your opinion. Why is that timeline? Where did you come with that one? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know why? Because it's just been a rudderless ship. Now, I know Dr. Livingstone's been doing a lot of the work, and sometimes people are like, why is she calling people to try to get a hold of the recruits? Well, I thought at least she's doing something, right? I mean, other than what we have at Randa. I just feel like I just think they need somebody who's going to be the AD, not the president, even though depending on who you ask, she's either done a good job or not. I think you have to have somebody who's the leader and makes this next hire and not someone outside of that. That's my deal. It's like you have a boat in the ocean and the sails are torn. And if you have an AD, at least you have somebody who can pick up a row and start rowing it to where it needs to go.
You know, I know Wren, got to know him when he was at North Texas, have not spoken to him about the Baylor job, so I'm not trying to put words in his mouth or speak for him in any capacity. But I can say he is a professional AD. He is an AD's AD. And he has grown with the job, started as a director of basketball operations and at the D2 level, is now obviously in the Big 12, intimately familiar with Baylor sports, being at West Virginia for these past few years. So if he's the guy, I struggle to think of anyone that Baylor could go get that would be better than him.
I also wonder, sorry, Paul, I get the feeling that, you know, he hadn't been there long. He's from Oklahoma, so that makes sense. And, of course, there was the connection with Mac when he was at Missouri. But I get the feeling that he's already, this just happened for him at West Virginia. And I would think that the family and Wren probably would like to put down some more roots before there's – and it might be a timing thing.
I will say if you look up his Twitter, and yesterday morning he tweeted the view from his back porch when he woke up. And I will say – the Waco does not offer views like Morgantown does. So the compensation package would have to account for that.
Yeah, I think that it would be a nice choice, to be a great choice, but I don't think that will be a part of this hire.
Zach, I also think that it would just serve them well to really think outside the box of maybe the Mac Rhodes tree. Not to knock Wren. I would love it if Wren came back here or any of those other guys, but I don't think it's going to be Jeremiah Dickey. He just got a big extension at Boise State. He's bringing them into a new league. That's an exciting challenge. Part of it is what are you offering me? I'm about to take a team into a new league, or I could go back to where I was and help clean up a mess. I do think that thinking outside of just, okay, well, who could come here the fastest? Who knows how it works? Sometimes you need somebody to come in like they did with Mac and take the whole thing right at the beginning and shake it out like a rug, and then see what happens.
Yeah, and another question that any AD has to answer is every single one of them is going to be asked is, how are you going to get us access to new money? Because it never gets cheaper to run an athletics department, and there's only so many times you can go back to the same people and ask them for more and more money. So avenues to new revenue streams are certainly going to be valued. You need to have a good answer there. But at the same time, you can't just go get a business guy because look at what Tony Petitti's done to the Big Ten. So I think someone that understands what college athletics is for, the purpose of it, but can also for those new avenues, for new money, that's your unicorn candidate.
Yeah, they have. I asked somebody that handles the NIL, do you have enough of the young donors, the ones, and I mean, not, people will donate their money, but do they have enough of the young guys, the young rich donors? They have a lot, because I've always said it, Baylor's, I was told this immediately, they always have the money they need, but I wonder if there are enough newbies. What is it, Craig's deal again?
New booty.
New booties.
The fourth time in 2 days I've had.
I know. That have that kind of, that want to, and maybe even sometimes they can be a little bit over aggressive or a little bit, but they need that. I was told they had it, but I think that they need, like you said, they need some scratch. They got that roster is $10 or $15 million behind everybody else. It seems like most everybody else at this particular time. It is. It's been interesting. What do you know about Tommy McClellan at Rice? He was at Vanderbilt. He's been at La Tech. What about his resume and where he stands? He's at Rice. I'm not trying to say he's not, but what do you hear about him?
To be honest with you, I do not hear a whole lot. I've not spent a lot of time in the Tommy McClellan land within college athletics. So unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot for you there. Okay.
I bring that up as just a name that just kind of was, no one said he's applied or they've even contacted him. But I'll say this, though, Zach. You know that Dr. Livingstone's been taking an enormous amount of heat, right? One, for extending Aranda, and then also just because. But I did have an AD that I'd known a long time that said that in the coaching are in the athletics business of college sports, that she has an impeccable reputation and is very well respected. Now, I know some Baylor fans going to say, screw that, but I have heard that. So you would think that she does have a pretty good list to go by.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the amount of success that Baylor has had in the name sports. And I'm not just talking football, but in men's basketball. But the amount of success that Baylor has had, the brand has completely transformed in the past 10 years, 15 years, and the new facilities, the new basketball arena, that all of that, in addition to winning and the facilities, the location, it screams that these people give it us and they know what they're doing. So that of itself is going to be attractive to people.
Zach, thank you, man. Good luck chasing all of this down with some that are about to be filled, and then that means somebody else is going to be open. Colin Klein and K-State. They're introducing him right now at one of those arenas. What a nice hire for them. That was is there ever been a more no-brainer than that one?
No, it's funny. My sister is married to a K-State grad, so they're all Wildcats now. And she's been texting me about this, like, what's going on? Is this going to get done? The AD said he didn't even have his phone number. What does that mean? I'm like, it's fine. If you know about it by now, the people wouldn't have let it out if it's not. She's like, don't they have to post it? I'm like, no, they made a phone call. He said yes, and then that was the search right there. Like, it's going to be great. Yeah, and you don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah. All Gene Taylor has to do is, hey, Chris, I know you're retiring. I don't have Klein's number in my phone. Can you shoot that over to me?
You could text Bill Snyder.
Yeah, exactly.
or any K-State fan. By the way, they're having the ceremony now. Bracket Cat, who's a viewer of our show, just sent me an updated picture of I think it's the Morgan Family Arena, whatever it is, but they're having a fun time in Manhattan, Kansas. Zach, thank you, buddy. Appreciate your time and all the knowledge of what's going on right now in college athletics.
Sounds good. Anytime.